Hello, everyone. Okay, hello, everyone. My name is Jaquise Moore. I am the host of Learning with Jasmine. This is our third Let's Chat, and we have a special guest today, and I want her to introduce herself and her profession, and we're going to get started.
Everyone, my name is Annette Taylor. I am an elementary educator.
Okay. And we are actually going to be talking about bilingual education. Now, what she did not say is what she learned in school. So can you give me that background?
Hello?
Yes, we're having some difficulty. Okay. Make sure your volume is up a little bit.
Got you.
Okay. So what you did not say about your profession, or your degree, I should say.
Oh, my my degree.
Or your expertise part, yes.
My degrees that I got from college were not in education. I got my bachelor's in history and my master's in international relations, but I did focus on education in urban areas in my master's. And then I got into the capital teaching residency program with KIP DC, and then that's how I got back into education.
Okay.
And I focused
Yes. So we're gonna tie into why bilingual education, why I asked you. And so that was the reason, the spark of my interest of bilingual education. And I know her personally, so I know the things what she just said about international studies. And so we're gonna get into, of course, the definition first for those who do not know. So we're going to be talking as if, so that we can make sure that we have everybody on the same board of what definition for that.
Yes. So basically, bilingual education would be the process of teaching students two languages. You're trying to incorporate both languages in the classroom as if it would be the student's first language, basically. Everyday conversation in the classroom with the second language. If your students are speaking English and you want to teach them Spanish, you're teaching them Spanish as if it were their own first language. Utilizing differing levels of native and second language, and just basically engaging with the students as if it were their first language.
Yes. Okay. So now that we have a generalized mindset and understanding of bilingual education, what are the benefits of being bilingual? I know that's like, I am an ESL instructor and tutor, so this is up my alley. So we're both, we're all about being bilingual. And do I know another language fluently? No, I'm learning that myself. But what are the benefits of being bilingual? Knowing one language, we call it L1, your native language, to your L2, your another language that you want to learn, But in this America, we have English is basically the main thing that, we're teaching children, in the classroom, even adults. I teach adults, even adults. But what are the benefits of being bilingual?
I'd say one of the main benefits, as you said, we're in America and there are millions of people that come from different countries. So it's good for interaction with your peers. For adults, jobs, future jobs, application, good in your, in your workforce. For students, your student may not have friends that are from the same country as them, and they're interacting with one another. It's good to have those conversations. It's good for college applications. It's just good to have two languages. It's good to know both, not just, be adept to just one language, and be open to more cultural experiences, basically. So I think it's an advantage.
Right. And so tie into special ed students.
Right.
Tie into special ed students. What does special education look like in bilingual programs?
Yes. So special education for bilingual programs, certain students would probably have an IEP specifically. For instance, if a student's coming from a Spanish-speaking country and maybe English is not their native language, the IEP would focus on, how can we, of course, we need to focus on helping them in their native language, but how are they progressing with their second language? What is our IEPs going to look like? What small groups could we incorporate the student in? How are we going to teach them math and reading in their second language? And of course, special education students, you really want to focus on small group focus, really engaging activities, not just reading from a book. How are you going to show the second language in some way that could be active and engaging for the student? And still, like I said before, still teaching them as if their second language was their native language.
Yes. Okay, so I wanted to add, I'm actually in my master's in English second language, and I just finished bilingual education course. And so I actually learned a little bit what you're saying. I actually learned that there are so many programs that schools have. They might have a dual language program. They might have, just focusing on one language. That's usually for adults, like for different colleges, they may have a non-credit course in just English for adults to learn English. There's so many out there. I know we're in the state of Maryland, and there's so many free tutoring, tutoring programs to the point that, I have a student all the way in Africa that I tutor every week. And it's a pro bono job. So, it's like, there's so many out there that for adults, and there's also for children. So definitely recommend you going through the Learning with Jasmine. There is a post of all United States special ed website for whatever state you are in. I have already posted it. You can click on it. You can research where it is. You can ask for bilingual education programs. There are so many information out there for in your public school system, in your community. There might be some programs that the library is doing or going to do after the COVID-19. There's so many programs. So just definitely look into your community. That was a little side note, you guys. It's definitely good to always check on your community. Most of the time, the library knows the firsthand because they're already putting stuff out there. Very good on that. What does research say about learning two languages if you have a disability? Like if you have a speech delay or something like that, what does research say?
Basically, let me refer to my notes. Research says a student, of average intelligence who has a high level of language proficiency in Spanish and a minimal level of ability in English and limited visual accuracy will require curricular services and placement different from those of student who, may have a higher average in both languages. So basically, back to what I was saying, they would need the IEP focus. Some things may be a little more delayed for those students, so you may have to structure your lesson plan different from a student who's in a general education class. So, like I said, really focusing on how the daily activities for that student would be. The planning is really key for students with disabilities and second languages, with two languages, basically. But really about being engaging and the interaction, to me, that's the main thing. For instance, I had students in my class last year who were learning another language, and they also had IEPs that they were dealing with as well. So for those students, I would try to use apps because the apps, wow, technology today really, really helps. Like it was so interactive. It did everything for me, basically. I mean, not to say that my teaching wasn't helping, but the app really helped me. It gave the breakdown. It was making the students more engaging because some students cannot just learn from a piece of paper in a book. And so students with disabilities in my classroom, and also the classroom across from us was a special education program. So I would work with that teacher as well. And you basically work together with having the small groups and one-on-one sessions as well. Those are also key.
Yes, definitely the one-on-one. Like I said, there's so many. That's how I got into ESL. Started by tutoring through a company that in Maryland, they're actually need teachers, tutors, Literacy Council of Montgomery County. They don't know that I just did a shout out with them. But they always need tutors, and that one-on-one is so important. Combining bilingual and individuals that are bilingual, and then in the classroom also you are hearing a lot of English.
Right.
It's not just, there's nothing wrong with just a one set of language program, but the benefits of hearing both languages at the same time is, their level of language will, not only with speaking their own native language, but to learn another language. Their language skills will go up. I know that from the study that I just did for the past 5 weeks, I know for teachers, when you have, you're in a general ed class, and then there's children that are bilingual or learning a different language, had a native language, and coming to the classroom, that small group could be half the session could be in Spanish, and then the same book could be learning English. So that's how they can translate. As an ESL instructor, I always make examples like, okay, how do you say this in your language? And then let's turn it into English. So that's what it kind of like looks like in a bilingual setting in education. And you're talking about learning English, growing up, getting a job. Do you know, you guys, that when you learn English, you get more money in jobs? But if you are bilingual, you get more money than that.
Yeah, that's true.
So I always tell my students, but I always tell my students that, come to America, or in general, you live here and you want to learn another language, it is definitely useful.
Yes.
It's definitely useful. And And that's, you know, not just the benefits of money, but just to learn another language is, you know, it's beyond, and that's something I've always wanted to do. And so learning Spanish or learning French or learning any, you know, even like sign language, that is definitely in the classroom. That
Another
is
important one.
something that is right. That's a different type of language, but that is definitely beneficial. Yes. Okay. So what can parents who are not bilingual do to support their child in school?
For that, I would suggest the parent to try to involve themselves in any like PTA groups, or when they have those international nights, try to connect with other parents who are probably, speaking the same native language as them, but they're also bilingual themselves. Try to create a group, like,
Mm-hmm.
of parents. Okay, I need help. You've been through this before, so maybe we can exchange contacts and you can text me. Going online, I know they have sites. The school will give information and sites in that parent's native language that they could log on to, and it will help the parent, as well as giving the tips to the parent will be able to give the tips to their child. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, using the apps. One app that I think
Mm-hmm.
is really good is Duolingo. So
Yes.
while the parent has it up on the phone, they can keep their child right there next to them, and they're going back and forth. So while the child is learning, the parent is learning the second language as well.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube videos, watching even television in the language that they want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely trying to go to as many meetings as the school as possible. The school that their child attends is their main base of resources. And like you said, the library as well. Going to the
Yes.
library, there's always going to be someone at the library that can help them. Either they're bilingual themselves or they have the resources to give them. So I think that's a few ways.
Right. Right. I also wanted to add for with parents who are not bilingual but
Mhm.
want to, like you were saying, support. So
Right.
remember last week or 2 weeks ago, we talked about, you guys, special ed, and we had a special ed specialist that was talking about IEP, and you mentioned that too. Definitely, I wanted to stress, and I will always stress probably when we talk about IEP, is that if you do not fluently read, write, and speak, and even understand the definition of the IEP conversations, because there's going to be so many. They're going to use so many vocabulary words that are not like you cannot find in like a regular book or whatever. They're going to use their own code words. Definitely, if you're not fluent in English, I definitely recommend you asking ahead of time for a translator to
Yeah.
be in that IEP meeting.
Hmm.
And the reason being is because there's so many stories of parents saying, maybe did not understand the terminology and then agreed on something for their child and did not understand it. And then, like, why is this happening? What's this going? And, without the full knowledge and understanding of it, it sometimes will cause maybe some setbacks. What administrators may say, okay, or agree to or disagree of, and there's no, really dialogue in the conversation, making sure that everything is clear. Even I speak English, and I'm like, what? Excuse me. What does that mean? Type of thing. And so, just having someone who is more knowledgeable than you with IEPs, it doesn't make you, not smart. It's just that they have their own set of definitions, if that makes sense. So You know, I have someone who works in the school system that knows about IEP, that's always in IEP meetings, that's always right there when I have the IEP meetings. So now you go into the bilingual aspect. You know, if a parent who may not know English, whose child is learning English, it is so important to have a translator for it to be, you know, for that parent to understand everything that's going on with their child, because you have the absolute right to deny or to agree. And if you don't agree it will not continue. So you are the first person who says, okay, no, I don't accept this, you know, for your child, because you are their parent. So I definitely wanted to tag into that. So also another thing that you said before we wrapped up is that, you know, always being involved, engaging, you know. And so let me go ahead. What are the things that, you know, we talked about with the teacher's role, besides being engaged, but what can the parents do at home to implement English with their child and with themselves too, together as a family?
So going back to school being your main resource, I would say for the parent to ask the teacher for some possible links that they could use at home. Sometimes schools, if a parent doesn't have a computer at home, they could ask for like a Chromebook to take home. They could borrow it for the school year. The Chromebook can be put into both languages, or it will translate it into whatever they're looking for into English. Chromebooks to me are best because, first of all, it's by Google. Google has their own translation system. They have all these different apps specifically for education, and the apps that the school uses would be on the computer that's sent home. So you can ask the teacher to, maybe you ask, if the teacher isn't bilingual, there's usually someone like a resource teacher who is bilingual, who has better information that you give it to them, give it to the parent takes it home. Like I said, YouTube, that's a major thing. YouTube teaches like everything. So putting up sticky notes around the house, you know, that's one of the common things where you put it in Spanish and English, or French and English, whatever the parent is speaking at home. Again, Duolingo, a few other apps as well, but that's one of the main ones that I know. Doing flashcard games with the student. And this is a good opportunity. One-on-one interaction, you're learning, the parent is learning, and their child is learning as well. And of course, phone calls for the parent as well. So, and then, like I said, forming a group. Maybe you know another parent that's dealing with the same thing and they're bilingual. Well, they're trying to become bilingual. They're not bilingual. And you guys could work together, meet up at the library, meet up at home. So, there's some activities.
Right. Another shout out. Here we go. I'm promoting things. This is what I use every single time. Is Taboo. Now, this is an English. Yeah, this is an English game. It has English words always. But this is what I use to translate from one thing to, you know, one language to English. It's like, you know, and after a while, after reviewing between 10 to 20 cards for like a week, then we are understanding vocabulary. We're understanding about similarities. And that's what it is. It's all about one language to another. It's all about similarities. You know, what did we use this for? We use this to write. Well, that was in Spanish, that was in French, and that was in English too. So it's basically almost, you know, how we use this is similar. It's the same of everything. We use this to write. And so you translating from one language to another, that's what it is. That's what bilingual is, you know. So, you know, starting from a younger age, yes, it's more effective, because of they grasp a lot, and learning another language, no matter what, of course, it has to do with studying and practicing, but there's something more in depth. It's they're really getting to the grammar when it gets to adults than just just a little, just conversation in a younger age. So definitely to consider. I also have a study, if you are bilingual, the likelihood of having Alzheimer's, dementia, is less. Learning another language. Yes. Yes. Researchers have said that, and the past 3 classes I've researched that myself, that learning another language actually decreases the likelihood of dementia. So it's something that is, definitely something that, it's beneficial. So I hope you guys, you want to say something else before we wrap up?
Just, I love bilingual education. I think
Yes,
it's very
I do.
important. And continue on. It's really, really necessary, and necessary not just general education, but special education as well. So keep pushing forward.
Yes, yes. Yes, and like I said, it's very useful when it comes down to jobs, and even with schools, they might have scholarships.
Yeah.
By the way, yeah, they might have scholarships. Yeah, for like, even if it comes down to you want to work at any,
Mm-hmm.
any place is really good. They will definitely look into you having a bilingual, and that's what some places they do ask you for.
That's true.
Like, do
And
you
you study
speak?
abroad as well. If you go to college and you have the opportunity, encourage your child to do study abroad.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So you guys, I hope you guys enjoy this Let's Chat. And by the way, little commercial break. Today at 1:00, we will be having another Let's Chat from a bio. She's a doctor in bioscience, and she will be talking to us about the brain and autism. Oh, and actually, I just wanted to point out, when it comes down to special ed, individuals who have a speech delay, like Jasmine, my daughter has a speech delay. They say that even if she's not fully, now she's talking now. Oh my goodness, she's really talking from the ABA. Definitely having a speech therapist and an ABA therapist is definitely a must. But she's not, having those full conversations for an 8-year-old, and they say that she needs to learn Spanish or French or whatever the case may be. She needs to be bilingual, because what it does, it actually helps both languages. So that's something that I'm definitely looking into with. And there's so many right now, because of COVID-19, there's so many places that are having camps for free, learning Spanish. So definitely look into that. Learning English, definitely look into that. And so that's little side note right there. That's
so, audio. Just
yes,
in
audio.
Headphones and just listening to the second language repeatedly. Child is picking up more than you think they are, even if they are nonverbal. Let them listen to it. They're picking it up. You may not think, because you can't hear it, you can't see it, but they are taking it in. So it's good.
Yes, they're feeding into everything. Yes, yes. And repetition is very important. Definitely repetition. And like I said, here's my little, I always say this other part. It is not enough for your child to have the services and you don't implement it at home. So that's why we always talk about whatever it is, what can parents do at home to make sure that we are responsible to do what we need to do for our child. And so it's definitely important. So I want to thank you for joining me and agreeing to do this. I really
No
do
problem.
appreciate it. And so you guys, again, once this is have finished, you guys can share this. You can share the link to anyone who you know, have a special ed or bilingual, because those two things are definitely, you're going to, you know, there's programs like pull outs and all that stuff, you know, because you're bilingual, native language, and then special ed. And so those are the things that, these are the things that we talk about in the school system that will definitely will be helpful for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, thank you. And I will see you guys next time today at 1 o'clock. Thank you. Bye-bye.